Hey, how's it going? I wanted to talk about John McAfee. I knew about John McAfee because of the antivirus software program, of course, and I've done a little research on him. I've seen a documentary called He's a Trip, but He's Not an Idiot, something like that. You should go watch it. But he was recently died in a prison. There's a lot of speculation going around that he was murdered, just like Epstein. Personally, I don't think Epstein was murdered. I think he was taken out of the jail and rescued her, and then they body doubled whoever else they murdered. That's kind of my opinion on that. But I don't think John McAfee killed himself. He said many times that if he ever died, he would not kill himself. He was deep in the Silicon Valley bed, which is big tech. Like actually lived there. He was on a yacht when he got put in jail. And he owed $20 million or something. And the narrative released is that he was sick and he's 75 years old, and that he didn't want to spend the rest of his life in jail, so he killed himself. And everybody's just accepting that. And I would also like to say that the first publication that released this story is involved in it. They're the ones, the lie will travel all the way around the world, and the people will believe it before it's redacted or even investigated before the truth puts its pants on. So, John McAfee was a good dude. Did not want to commit suicide. His wife said he did not want to commit suicide, and he was shortly found, dead after being asked to be put in a more protective place. So there's the other story released too by his wife. He also knew a lot of truths and things that most people don't know, or that I don't know. I'd like to hear it, but he said if he was ever murdered, that everybody would find out. And he's already got it all set up to where everybody would find it. So I guess that'll be the interesting thing to come in the future, is to wait on where this story may go. But if you think John killed himself, you probably think Epstein killed himself too. The mainstream narrative is always what they're trying to get you to believe. And you gotta listen to what all the sheeps are parroting and regurgitating. I didn't read any of it, but I just keep hearing it. Oh, he killed himself. No, he didn't. You always go to the horse's mouth, like I always said. Like when I was doing my Van Gogh breakdown of the Starry Night, and Neil deGrasse Tyson trying to tell you how he feels and thinks, but yet I went and researched what he said, and he didn't have anything in agreement with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So the horse's mouth is always best. But in 10 years ago, when he was running for Libertarian, and he had one of the biggest Libertarian followings, and true Libertarian followings. You rarely meet real good Libertarian candidates like Ron Paul, but Ron Paul had to run for Republican because he knew that he would never win as Libertarian. And then before that was like Ross Perot, like old ass dude. But John McAfee, when I first started kind of getting interested in politics after Ron Paul, I was like, well, is there anybody else? So I took like this 100, 200 question government test, and I guess it had all the people that were running answered the questions too in some form or way, and I was like 93% match with John McAfee, where everybody else was good 15% below me, at minimum. So yeah, it was. So I have a lot in common politically with the guy. So it's kind of sad. Rich people don't go to jail and prison though for the rest of their lives. The government doesn't want you in prison for the rest of your life if you're able to pay some of it back. They want you paying it back. Like if I have a job and I get arrested for something stupid, right? I'm not as rich, so we'll scale it down. Parking tickets, speeding tickets, etc., etc. They're gonna want me out working, and they'll start taking it out of my checks. Or like say I didn't pay taxes and I'm working in the oil field. I had a buddy that did. They'll just come start taking your money out. They'll find a way to take your money from you. They're not gonna they're not gonna keep you in prison for the rest of your life. And then there's no reason to kill yourself. You lived a long life. You can still talk to your kids, write letters, write notes. You'll probably die soon anyway because you're sick. So you have a lot of memories and thoughts and wisdom just to sit there and meditate in your jail for a little while you figure out things, while they figure out things. There's no reason to ever kill yourself. That's the weakest argument I've ever heard in my life. And people saying that shit aren't thinking for themselves. There's no reason to kill yourself because you're in jail. Especially if you're rich as he is. So he has things to live for still. And yeah, it'd have been better if they would have said he died of COVID or something. But anyway, I hope all of you are having a blessed day. Peace and love.